Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're unpacking a truly fascinating and honestly kind of urgent analysis by Ajmal Ilahi. He's an expert with over 18 years of experience in governance, institutional performance, and digital transformation. His work is published by AAYAN, that's spelled AAYAN, and pronounced AN, which is a firm completely dedicated to bridging evidence, systems, and impact. I highly recommend heading over to their Knowledge Hub at ionsolutions.net and absolutely follow AAYAN on YouTube and LinkedIn for more insights. So, what we're exploring today is a really wild paradox happening right now in our workplaces. Artificial intelligence is rapidly learning from humans, but are we humans slowly forgetting how to think?
Okay, let's dive into this. We are living through a massive paradigm shift right now in our day-to-day professional workflows. On one side of the coin, you have the immense structured power of machine learning. And on the other, you've got the complex, organic nuance of human cognition. We're increasingly hooking up our daily tasks to these digital systems, but, this connection is a two-way street. The question isn't just about what AI can do for us anymore. It's really about how this tight integration is fundamentally altering our human learning, our analysis, and our decision-making processes. Here is our roadmap for this explainer. We're going to break this down into 5 logical steps. First, we'll look at the new professional reality. Second, tool versus thinking replacement. Third, the danger of lost context. Fourth, declining intellectual effort. And finally, evolving alongside artificial intelligence. All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the new professional reality. Before we can really critique our relationship with AI, we have to just acknowledge its undeniable, incredible utility in our modern lives. I mean, across so many sectors, whether you're in governance, development, research, or monitoring, evaluation, and learning, which is also known as MEL, AI is an absolute powerhouse. It's structurally changing how we handle writing reports, prepping presentations, and analyzing giant datasets. It's even stepping into the creative side of things to help us brainstorm ideas. We're talking about tasks that historically burned through days of intense, focused human labor, and they are now being compressed into mere hours. In high-pressure environments with crazy deadlines, having this level of support isn't just a nice bonus, it is practically revolutionary.
And we really need to highlight the incredibly positive side of the shift, too. This is not just about big corporations moving faster. For developing countries like Pakistan, for example, AI is acting as a massive equalizer. It's literally democratizing technical support. Smaller organizations, independent researchers, and young professionals all suddenly have access to high-level analysis and formatting tools that until very recently were exclusively the playground of massive, well-funded institutions with specialized teams. It's a genuine leveling of the playing field, and that is a beautiful thing.
Which brings us to Section 2, tool versus thinking replacement.
This right here is the pivot point of our explainer, because whenever a tool gets this convenient, utility can so easily blur into blind reliance. If AI continues to think for humans, what actually happens to human thinking itself? This is the central thesis of Ajmal Ilahi's analysis. AI isn't going anywhere, right? It's only going to become more and more integrated into our lives. So the issue isn't the technology itself. The issue is how we as humans choose to interact with it. And this brilliantly illustrates the exact boundary line we are struggling with. Over on the left, we have AI as a support tool. This is the healthy approach. This is using AI to generate a rough draft, maybe summarize a long document, or create a starting point that still absolutely requires human review, analysis, and judgment. But on the right, we have the danger zone, AI as a thinking replacement. This is when users just stop refining the outputs. They generate a response, copy-paste it directly, and treat that generated content as the final, unverified truth. People are increasingly relying on the machine to do the actual heavy-lifting thinking for them.
Let's move into Section 3, the danger of lost context.
When we start outsourcing our thinking like that, we move away from abstract risks and straight into tangible, messy consequences. Let's ground this in a specific, real-world anecdote from the source material. Imagine you have a development report where the acronym DSO is used. To the human team on the ground, DSO obviously means Data Support Officer. But an AI, which is just scanning for generic broad patterns, forcefully converts it into District Support Officer. Now, on the surface, that sounds completely plausible. The language is totally correct. But programmatically, it is entirely 100% wrong. Here's a second example from the exact same sector. DSP, which internally meant downstream partner, was smoothly converted by the AI into District Service Provider.
Again, it sounds super professional, right? But think about the cascading effects of a mistake like this. In governance systems, technical documentation, or program reporting, changing a partner to a service provider drastically alters the meaning, the legal implications, and the entire interpretation of the project. And the scary part is, these errors slip through because the language looks so polished that human reviewers, with their guards totally lowered by convenience, simply stop verifying the facts.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it breaks down the illusion of AI competence. AI writes with supreme confidence. It generates polished language, really impressive structures, and convincing patterns. But it is entirely hollow when it comes to contextual reality. No matter how detailed your prompts are, AI does not truly understand field realities. It doesn't grasp institutional dynamics or organizational culture, political sensitivities, or human emotions. It's just predicting the next logical word based on data. It doesn't comprehend society the way you do. That contextual awareness, that is an exclusively human strength.
Zooming out a bit, we land on Section 4, declining intellectual effort.
Beyond the typos and reporting errors, there is a much broader existential risk to our cognitive health here. Think about our daily habits for a second. Reading deeply, analyzing carefully, writing thoughtfully, questioning critically. These aren't just innate traits we're born with. They are habits. They're skills that will absolutely atrophy if they aren't used. The real risk of AI isn't just producing a bad report. It's that convenience is slowly, quietly replacing active intellectual engagement. When we become completely dependent on generated outputs, we lose our patience for the struggle of learning. We lose the mental stamina required to actually digest complex information. Ejmal Ilahi summarizes this threat perfectly. He says, "If future generations become more comfortable receiving instant answers than understanding concepts themselves, the long-term implications may extend far beyond productivity gains." Think about our educational environments for a moment. Think about young professionals who are supposed to be developing their analytical skills. If the struggle of thinking is entirely removed from the equation, we are basically mortgaging our long-term intellectual capacity for a bit of short-term efficiency. That brings us to our final section, number 5, evolving alongside artificial intelligence.
So what do? Well, rejecting AI entirely is clearly not the answer. It's neither realistic nor useful. So the crucial point is that we must find a balanced coexistence. AI is on an inevitable path. It's going to continue reshaping workplaces, improving efficiency, and aggressively reducing repetitive workloads. That is a given. But humanity has a required path that we must actively choose to walk. We have to fiercely maintain our critical thinking. We absolutely must guard our independent judgment and our contextual understanding. The goal is to treat AI as a powerful exoskeleton for our minds, not a replacement for our brains. We simply cannot outsource our judgment. I want to leave you with this final provocative thought to chew on. As AI continues to exponentially improve all around us, what is your trajectory going to be? Are we, as humans, going to continue improving alongside AI? Pushing our own analytical boundaries even further? Or will we gradually become passive dependents, just relying on systems to do the heavy lifting of thinking on our behalf? Ultimately, that choice is entirely up to how you decide to use the tool tomorrow morning. Thank you so much for exploring this vital topic with us today. If you want to dive deeper into systems thinking, digital transformation, and governance, you've got to visit ayankasolutions.net. And please don't forget to follow AAYAN, again, that's AAYAN, on YouTube and LinkedIn to keep engaging with insights that challenge how we work and think. Until next time, keep thinking critically.